before we get started, I do want to mention that this is a mix between Noel Gallagher and Paul Weller's parts in the main solo of Champagne Supernova. And also, here and there, I put in a little bit of improvisation myself. So this is kind of my interpretation of the solo. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's run through this solo one lick at a time. Lick 1, it's going to sound like this. So I'm going to use my 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the G string and my 4th finger on the 7th fret of B. And I'm going to play them both at the same time, but I'm going to bend up and down. And I'm going to do this 4 times in a row. So I'm going to go like this. After that, you'll put your 1st finger on the 5th fret of G, and then your 3rd finger on the 7th fret of D. So that's... Lick 2 is going to sound like this. Alright, so I'm doing a hammer on from 5 to 7. Then I'm actually doing what we call a double stop on the 5th fret of the G and B strings by barring with my 1st finger. And I'm going to alternate between playing that, those 2 strings, then I'm going to hit the D string on the 7th fret, and then back to that double stop. So it's this. Then you hit the 7th fret of the G string, bend that note, and then you actually do a double stop on the top 2 strings on the 5th fret. And then you've got, okay, so 2 pull-offs on the G string from 7 to 5, and resolving onto that 7th fret of the D string. So that whole lick is going to be... Lick 3. So it's a hammer on from 5 to 7 on the D string. And yet again to those double stops on the G and B string on the 5th fret. This time twice. And then you hit those 2 double stops again. Just a bit quicker this time. And then 3 notes on the 7th fret of the D string. So it's this. And notice that when I'm doing those double stops, I'm pulling down a bit on the string. Okay, that can add a little bit of feel to it. That's what we call a curl, a little subtle bend. I'll do that one more time. Lick 4 is this kind of little bluesy idea. It goes like this. Alright, so starts with another hammer on, this time on the A string from 5 to 7. Then up to the 5th fret of the D string. This is the bluesy part because it goes 7, 6, 5. Once you've played that 5 though, so you do, you slide without picking it again, down to 3. So it's a... Once you've done that though, you're going to put your 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the A string, do a pull off, back to the 3, and then play the root note on the 5th fret of the low E string. Right, so that whole lick. To recap what we've done so far, I'll do it a little slower. For lick 5, we're going to be moving a bit higher up the neck. This is where Paul Weller's guitar part comes in. You'll notice a lot of the vibrato I'm doing is this side to side. And the reason for that is because that's just how it sounds to me on the track. I think it might be a whammy bar, but I don't have one of them on my guitar. So if you want to replicate that sound, either use a whammy bar or you can try this quick side to side vibrato. All right, but it's this bit goes like this. So it starts on the 12th fret of the G string into the 14th fret of the G string, and then it does like a tone and a half bend. So you're actually kind of aiming for this note here, the C note on the 17th fret of the G string. So it's, you've got to push pretty hard to reach that note. So it goes like this, and then does a hammer on from 12 to 14, same couple of notes again. After that, I do another bend. Doesn't go as far up this one, but I do include a rake here, which is where you actually, before you strum, before you hit the note, can you see I use my thumb to mute. You can also kind of use your right hand a bit to get that technique. And then that gave it that extra kind of emphasis. So you can either do that, or if that's too advanced, don't worry, just do a normal bend. But yeah, so it goes like this. Another hammer on after that bend from 12 to 14. And then it does 14, 12, 14, and yet another bend. And then another hammer on. So in total, that part is going to sound like this. Oh, sorry, I didn't reach the high note. Lick 6 is where we move even further up the fretboard. We're starting on fret 17 of the B string. Here's how it goes. We're going to go from fret 17 on the B string, then up to fret 20 on the same string, then fret 17 on the high E string, and fret 20 on the high E string too. So it's... After that, we got a bend on that 20 on the high E string. Then you play the 20 again. But don't let that bend come back down, by the way. You bend up, and then you mute the string, and then you come back down for a normal 20. So it's this. Then you have a hammer on and pull off, or a quick flick, some people call it, from 17 up to 20, and then back again. Okay, so you just hammer that finger down onto the 20, and do a quick hammer on and pull off. So let's put all that together. After that, you play the 20th fret of the B string, and then the 17th fret of the high E string, and then you play those notes again. 20 on B, 17 on E. That's followed by a bend on the 20th fret of the B string, but you leave your first finger on fret 17 of the high E string, and you play these notes a few times, bending the 20 and playing the 17. So you go like this. Okay, I'll do that again. Then you're going to play the 17 again. So a lot of the same notes here. 17 on the high E string, and then 20 on the high E string. So it's going to be another bend on the high E string on the 20th fret. And then we've got another flick going from 17 to 20 and then back again. Okay, to finish off that segment, or that lick. So it's going to sound like this in total. I'll do it a little slower. Lick 7 is going to sound like this. Right, so I'm going to play the 17th fret of the high E string twice, and then I'm going to slide down to 15 like this. Once I've done that slide, I'm going to do a flick, a little hammer on and pull off from 15 to 17. So it goes. And then when I've done that, I'm actually going to slide down to 12 from 15. Okay, so it goes. Alright, I'll do that one more time because that's a little bit tricky. So I'll play the 17th twice. Slide down to the 15. As soon as I get there, I'm going to do a pick and a hammer on and pull off. And this is where I'm going to hammer on, pull off, and then slide. Okay. So once I've done that, do that little part. So it goes, I'll play the 12 on the high E string. The 15 on the B string. So, and play that 15 3 times. Then 13 on the B string. 12. Then I hammer on back to the 13. Back to the 12. And then 14 twice on the G string. So that's going to sound like that. So that whole part is this. Lick 8 is quite long. I will play it all now. I'm going to slide from 11 to 12 and then hammer on from 12 to 14 and then pick that 14 again. So that bit is going to go like this. And then you just play 14 and 12 again, all on the G string, and then you've got 4 notes on the 14th fret after that. So it goes. After that, it does the same thing twice in a row. It's got some more of those big bends on the 14th fret. It goes. Does that twice in a row. So you notice I'm doing a hammer on onto the 14 from the 12 again. Hitting the 14 twice. This time hitting it once I've hammered onto it. So twice. Once, and then playing 12, 14, and then bending. Does that phrase twice, so I'll do that twice in a row now. Then it does another hammer on from 12 to 14, and then plays the 14 again, but this time it does this little lick. So we do the hammer on from 12 to 14 and play that 14. But then we're going to play the 12 on the B string. Then the 13 on the B string. And then a hammer on and pull off or flick from 12 to 13 back to 12. So it's, and then you play 14 on the G string, 12 on that same string, and then back to the 14. So, yeah, I'll put that all together one more time. This last little section is going to sound like this. Right, so it starts with a hammer on from 17 to 19 on the A string. Then same thing on the D string. Hammer on from 17 to 19, and then you're going to hit the 17 on the G string. So it goes like this. Then you're going to play the 19 on G, back to 17 on G. So it's... After that, we've got a bend on fret 19. But this is a tricky part because you kind of got to do a little roll here. You're going to play the 17th fret of the B string into the 17th fret of the G string. But because they're on the same fret, it's good to use this technique where I'm going to use slightly further up my first finger there. Further up the finger, because then I can roll down onto this one here without it losing its kind of like smoothness. So it's going to be like this. Okay, so that's quite challenging, but a good part to get right. I'll do that again actually one more time. Then it just goes like this. So it's going from 17 on G to 19 on B, and it does that twice. Like that. Okay, I'll put all that together so far. Then we're going to slide with your second finger up to fret 14 on the G string, and we're going to do this. Okay, so you're doing a slide with your second finger up to that 14th fret of the G, then playing 13 on the B, 15 on B, back to 13, and then back down to that 14 on the G string, so it's this. And then it finishes off with something quite similar. You do a slide up to that same note again, 14th fret of the G string. But then you play the 13 twice, and then the 15 on the B string, and then the 13 twice again, and then it's back to the 14th fret of the G string. So that last bit is like this. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found that helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know any other tutorials you'd like me to do, and I will see you next time.